Okay, everyone. Are we still going to wait for some more people or shall we start? No. Okay. Hello, book brewers. How are you today? I hope everything's fine. And the book that you're reading, sort of like recharging your battery. Okay, we are going to have some book review and book discussion. Since we have like 5 people here, I think 4 of you are going to give a presentation about your opinion on the books that you read. We have Donald book here called The Body by Bill Bryson. We have Pipit. The book is Girls Are Best. Yes. All right. That looks cool. And we have Gusti Mantap Pujiwa by Jeremy Pauline Sijabat. Sounds interesting. And we have Lydia with Green Light by Matthew McConaughey. All right, who wants to start? Here's the thing. I would like you to share what's this book about, like sort of like the book in a nutshell. And then what do you like most about the book? And what's the things that we as the readers
What
here
house?
can take away from the book? Yeah. So Eddie, I think is my friend. And if I'm not wrong. Okay, who's going to start first? So again, there are
Do you have
5.
list of questions, Kak?
Yes.
Can we have the written list of questions?
Oh, okay. I will write it down then. Yeah. But the question is simple. One is, what is this book about? Like the book in a nutshell. And what is interesting things, or what are the interesting things about the book? And what are the takeaway things that you get from, or some insights from the book? Yeah. Because sometimes interesting things about the book is not necessarily has something that you take as a lesson, or something like that. But I will write it down. In the meantime, who's going to do that first? Anyone?
I want to start, but I don't know if I'm ready.
What about you, Donald? Because you're the
Okay.
first.
Yeah, okay, I will start. Good
Okay.
afternoon. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Good afternoon, everyone. So today I would like to share a book titled The Body by Bill Bryson. And I already have this book for a while, but I got interested about it recently. The book is about our body, so human body. And the writer is not a medical doctor, but he is a science writer. So the previous book that is famous from him, the title is A Short History of Nearly Everything, Bill Bryson. And this time he writes about human body. Pretty much all organs, and the interesting thing is he gives us not just the workings or how many parts of the body works, but also the history behind the discoveries. So how people discover medicine or medical procedure, or how some part works. And this is quite interesting. So just short story, my dad is a medical doctor, and I shared some stories from the book, and he got very interested, and he wants to read the book despite never reading this kind of book. So it's very interesting, and even as a medical doctor, he never got talk about the history behind the things that we have and take for granted today. So that's very interesting. And the takeaways, which maybe not the takeaways, the second thing that is very interesting beside the history is that the metaphors that the writer used. So there are so many things that we can learn about health, about human body, but he writes it in a way that is very interesting because he uses a lot of metaphors. Just one example, to compare between red blood cells and white blood cells, he says that red blood cells must stay within the blood vessels, but the white blood cell can leave the blood vessel, and he compared it to soldiers. So red blood cell is like soldier who must stay in the highway, but white blood cell are like soldiers who can venture out of the highway and get into the jungle to pursue the enemies. So that's quite interesting and makes me understand about this, because it's quite graphic. And then the white blood cell can launch their weapons called cytokine, but sometimes it gets wrong and they launch a lot of weapons for false enemy, and it becomes cytokine storm that kills people. Like in the early days of COVID, many people die because of cytokine storm. And I understand from the book that it is actually the weapon from the white blood cells, and so it's quite graphic like a movie. So that's the second thing, many metaphors that make it very interesting and easy to understand. So the takeaways from the book is actually quite a lot. This is one of the books that I highlight the most. And in fact, the reason why I choose to read this book is because I think health is very important issue for us. And it is something that many people take care of only after something wrong happens. And I want to learn how to prevent things as much as possible and be proactive as much as possible. And that is why I read this book. So some of the takeaways is that there are so many things that we have today that we take it for granted actually come from a high price in history. So there are so many people who pay price dearly in the past to get things that we have today. The second thing is that our health is something that we need to know about. We cannot just take information, but we need to understand the context. So just one example from the book. Nowadays, people use a lot of screening tests for cancer. However, actually many of the screening tests are not effective. So for example, one of the inventor of the test, the inventor himself is amazed because so many people take his test so seriously, while he know that the result is more or less just luck. So sometimes you get the right part of the body and find something, and sometimes it is false positive. So he himself is amazed because so many people take his test so seriously, and it is prescribed by so many medical doctors, while he himself as the inventor know that it is more luck than accurate results. So those are the things. So all kind of context like this is very useful, I think, to give me in particular the right mindset to make decisions in health situations about what to pay attention for, whether to do this or not. So yeah, it's very useful book. One of the most useful books actually, in my opinion, that I read recently. Okay, so that's my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Donald. So that sounds like an interesting book because I guess for me it's very relevant. I love knowing more about how everything works in my body. So there are three things that I see here that interesting for me. Many sacrifices from other people to get the healthy us today, something that we don't realize probably. And you mentioned about historical background of this book, and tests are not necessarily effective and mindset to make a decision about our body. Also, that what I get to learn more from your explanation. Okay, I'm going to open a session for QA. Anyone interested to find out more?
Yes, I have two questions.
Yeah.
The first one is the book seems to be very thick, and then the key takeaway from you seems to be very short. So, what does Bill Bryson spend most of his writing on with such a thick book? I mean,
Mhm.
does it do justice to, people say, okay, when the writer is Bill Bryson, he can make the most mundane thing interesting or something.
Hmm.
So I've heard. So is it true that this book is really interesting, like the history of nearly everything? Or there was a moment when got boring? That's first. And second, what did he spend most of his pages on this book?
Okay, so whether the book is interesting or not, I think it is relative.
Yeah.
But in general, I think it is very interesting. It is, in my opinion, it's very interesting because of the metaphor and the storytelling in the historical context.
Hmm.
But I think not every page is interesting. But for a book about health, it is as interesting as it can get. I think that's what I can say.
Hmm.
It is difficult to make it more interesting than this. And
Okay.
second
That's
question
good.
is, what does he spend most of the pages
Most
on?
of the
Yeah.
He went through different parts of the body. Brain is
Hmm.
one chapter, medicine is one chapter, lungs one chapter, heart one chapter, cancer one chapter, infectious disease. So quite complete actually.
Hmm.
Dementia, Alzheimer, all this. So my takeaway is short because of the time constraint. But actually we
Yeah.
can go to every part of the body and there are takeaways from, from it.
Okay.
About digestive system. So just
Mhm.
one example is from the book. When we get stomach aches, many people blame the last thing that they eat.
Eat.
Oh,
Yeah.
I ate this as my lunch, for example, and my lunch is my last meal. So
Hmm.
I think that is the culprit or the cause. But according to the book, and the book actually goes to the experts. So the
Hmm.
author went to Harvard and to many other places to go to the world-class expert
Hmm.
in this field. Actually, it takes time for food to go through our digestive system. So most likely, if we feel something wrong, it is not our last meal, but the meal before that. So that
Right.
is one thing that I never knew. Oh, so it is not my last meal, but the meal before that is the most likely culprit. So that is an example. And he also compares human anatomy compared to animals.
Hmm.
So that gets us to appreciate more. So just one example, primates like chimpanzee and the likes, they spend 4 times more energy to move on the ground compared to humans. So humans are much more efficient to move on the ground.
Oh.
Also, we have the ability to sweat. And
Yeah.
sweating is actually air conditioning because we can keep our body temperature despite the environment, and that allows humans to grow bigger brain. So that is an example. There are many examples like that comparing with the animal world, what is distinct about human. So yeah, a lot of pages on every part of the body.
All right. Sounds interesting. I think I'm gonna read this book. Thanks to you, Donald. Thank
Bill
you.
Bryson's book always interesting, Kak Imu. A lot of big
Yeah.
fans of him.
Yeah. Including Donald. Okay, Gusti, you want to ask Donald something?
Yes. What I find interesting about your review is about the cancer test. You said that based on the book, it is said that cancer test is not as accurate as we think. What does it mean by that statement? Is it like people that have no cancer is diagnosed as having cancer, or people who having cancer is diagnosed as have no cancer? That's the first question, and the second question is, if we cannot trust cancer tests based on the books, can we trust the modern chemical method of curing cancer, chemotherapy? Thank you.
Thank you, Gusti, for the question. So actually, the example that I mentioned is PSA test for prostate cancer. So it's very specific, and but it is a representative of many other screening tests, not just. But this is the example that he elaborated. So it could be false positive and could be false negative. And even if it is the PSA is just taking the blood. If it is positive, say you still have to do biopsy. But the procedure for biopsy itself, it's quite difficult. It depends on which part of the body is taken away by the biopsy, by the needle. Sometimes the needle take the right part, sometimes not. So it could be false negative. So it's quite complicated. So that is the first thing. So many of the screening they use blood tests in many different ways. And even with biopsy, it depends on which part gets taken. So that is the part about the screening test. And secondly, about curing, there are 3 main methods. Actually, every method has their own stories, which is quite interesting: radiation, surgery, and chemotherapy. And cancer is complicated, and it is still not curable right now. But so the book doesn't give us prescription because it is not solved yet. It's not solved yet, but the future could be like gene therapy, immunotherapy. Though the book mentioned that immunotherapy and gene therapy could be very expensive in the future. But for now, yeah, the best that we have is those 3: chemotherapy and radiation and surgery. What's interesting in the book is actually not the curing part, but the story about cancer itself. So cancer, in his word, is suicide without permission. So it is our body killing itself without our consent. That is cancer, suicide without permission. So it's quite interesting. I don't know whether that answered the question.
Wow, yeah, I think so in a way. But you sounds like you are a doctor already. Thank you so much. Anyone else? If not, then we'll go to the next one. Let's give big round of applause with the reaction or thanks, Donald. All right, next we still have few. Pipit with Girls Are Best, Gusti with Mantapu Jiwa, and Lydia with Green Light. Who wants to go first?
Can I go next, please?
Yeah, sure.
All right, thank you.
Girls Are Best, yes.
Yes. So Girls Are Best by Sandy Toksvig. Sandy Toksvig is the founder of Women's Equality Party in UK. Although it's a small party, but I think it's a good start. And the party is still alive until now. Okay, so bear in mind, it's not just a conservative, Liberal Party and Labour Party, which is the 3 dominant party in British politics. But yes, there is Women's Equality Party. So the reason why I wanted to read this is because I have shelved this book for some time, quite a long time. And then March is the Women Her Story Month. That's why I wanted to read something about women. Yeah. And then I saw on my Goodreads list that I shelved this book, and then it was a reason to pick it up again. So Girls Are Best. That was the reason why I'm reading this book, and I've just finished it last night actually. And then the next one is, in a nutshell, what the book and the writers already, and the book is about basically a lot of hidden story about women that was not put in the spotlight. And I think it's a good to know basis. And some of them are very important and can explain things such as why there are no or very few famous painters in the world during Renaissance, why there are not many women scientists and things like that. However, this book's also dotted with very interesting questions, which I will ask you, and then please try to guess it in the chat box, okay? So the first question is, of all assets in the world, how many in percentage you think is owned by women? Can you put in the check box between 1 until 100% of all assets in this world? How much in percentage is owned by women? Can you please guess? I will give the gift of applause to those who have the closest the closest answer. By Imung, 10%.
The closest number,
okay.
yeah.
The closest number, yes, go ahead, people. Yeah. Actually, if you win 3, I will give you 3 questions. If you win in all 3, I will actually probably send you something from Surabaya. 10%, 50%. You don't know. You have not guessed. Don't Google it, please. Eddie, if you want to, Kak Mita, if you want to guess, of all assets in the world, how much is owned by women? I will count to
30%.
30, 20.
30.
30. Okay, Donald, how about you? You have not, I guess.
Yeah, if it is the entire world, I am afraid below 10.
Below 10. Like, can you give me a number, please? 5. Okay,
Give
1,
a specific number.
2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, the answer is 1%. You guys.
Are
it's
you
very hard to-
serious?
Yes. This is the 2015 though. Sorry, the 2015 the latest data they have is 2015 is actually only 1% of asset in the world owned by women. Next one.
Why is
Yeah.
Okay.
it there?
Are we allowed to ask?
Not yet. I have the second question. Yeah, second question. You know everyone, you know Cambridge University, right?
Yes.
Famous university in UK. How many years since the establishment of Cambridge University, they finally allowed women to be
I've read that
a
book.
student, attended the university in Cambridge? How many years? Can you guess in the chat box? Don't Google it, please. How many years after it was founded, finally they allow women to study there? 75, Kak Lydia. 75, Kak Imung.
300 years.
300, Gustri 300. Okay. Kak Mita, how many years?
100.
100.
What was the
100.
question again? Can you
100.
repeat it?
Since the foundation of Cambridge University, how many years after that they allow women to be a student?
50 years.
50 years. Okay, you know, ready for the answer? 736 years.
Oh my goodness.
They were founded in 1209. Cambridge University is founded in 1209, admitted women in 1945. Can you guys imagine how long it is? Yeah. And there are so many shocking evidence, like how many countries women and men earn the same salary in average? In how many countries do women and men earn the same for the same type of job?
7.
7?
None.
Who said none?
I said none.
Okay, Kaimong, I will give you the gift. This is the spot on. None.
Still none.
There's no countries in this world where men and women earn the same amount of salary for the same job on average. So this is all of this statistics, the one that I think important to tell to people, because how stark the treatment between men and women, particularly in history. This book gave me a lot of angry facts that make me kind of angry. Yeah. So for example, there are so many facts like when men were so were encouraged to explore the world, right? The age of discovery, that time they call it, and which was the nascent part of colonization. Okay, women were not even allowed to go far from their house, in the form of they had to wear corset, and such a tight corset which make them hard to sit down and hard to breathe and hard to walk. That's why they cannot even go far from their house, because how exhausting it was to wear a corset. And a lot of laws actually very very unfair, such as there was a law, women not allowed to wear trousers, for example, right? Pantaloon, they call it. So they were not allowed to go to school. And then if they went to school, they had to pretend to dress like a man, basically. But then even though they dress like a man, if they got caught, they would be punished. So a lot of these things happened during the Renaissance, which is supposed to be the age of enlightenment, but the enlightenment only happened to the half part of the society. So actually a lot of women wanted to be painters, for example, but they were not even allowed to be the member of the academy. So the art academy, even in the enlightened Paris, they were not allowed to. And there is one particular story by Miranda Stewart. She was the first doctor graduating from Edinburgh University. She served 45 years as a doctor because she disguised as a man, basically. For 45 years, she disguised herself as a man, and people only found out that she was a woman after she died. And then they realized before burying her, then what, all this time she turned out to be a woman. And one heartbreaking, this is the last one because there are so many facts here. The last one is there's a Dr. Aknodike. Okay, Dr. Aknodike, this is 4th century BC. She saw a lot of women were sick, but not allowed, their husband did not allow men to treat their wives, basically. But there were no female doctors. So it's like catch-22, right? So the husband did not allow the wives to be treated by men, but also there were no alternatives. There are no female doctors. So there was one person who disguised herself as a man to study medicine. After she graduated, she wanted to treat women, but women thought she was a guy. So no, don't treat me. And then finally she confessed, no, but don't tell anyone, I'm actually a woman. But you know what happened to her? This is when happened when women against women, actually these women told the husband that she's actually a girl, and then she went to jail because of that, allowing women to be to practice medicine, actually breaking the law. Yeah. So a lot of these things that I learned kind of make sense now, although it shouldn't be an excuse because we have come a long way as in terms of gender equality, but it's important to be reminded how it was back then and make sure we should not go back to that era and then, you know, keep fighting for equality, in my opinion. So this is probably the best takeaway I got from this book. Yeah. So
Wow.
that's it.
I am amazed by all this information, and this is somewhat grateful with the era that we are living in now, right? So yeah. I
Oh,
just
sorry,
want-
Kak Umum, ada ketinggalan
Yeah.
satu, which is very important.
Okay.
So there were really so many painters actually in the era of Leonardo da Vinci. There were actually women. You know why they were not admitted in the academy? Because they could not paint naked body.
They're
So
not
one
allowed.
of so here's the thing. This is really crazy. One of the requirements to enter the Royal Academy of Arts, you should be able to paint the male naked body.
And in
But
that case,
Women are not allowed to see male naked body.
yeah,
So it's like, it's, what a stupid requirement. Anyway, so that's another barrier.
yeah.
So, okay. Sorry,
So
so that
I'm
was the
just
last one.
wondering, with all of this and nowadays, we still see and witness some of this kind of like society, right? In some places out there. I wonder what, yeah, things doesn't change there. Like, parents who cut the nose of the daughter because the daughter going out, for example, right? And that still happen. Anyway, itu PR bersama ya, our huge homework nowadays. Anyone want to ask questions or give comments about the Pipit's review?
Pipit, yes, wow, that is surprising facts, yeah. When you talk about asset, are you talking about like properties or like jewelries, all the paper like shares and things like that? Is that what you talk about?
The assets that have name on it. So I don't know if jewelry counts, but most likely is possession that has name on it.
I see. Okay. And about the university, after now, I mean, what happens to the acceptance of women students into universities now? Like, what are the numbers, the percentage? Do we have the same numbers of women students enrolling for universities in the world as the numbers of male students?
Actually, we don't know that one. I can look that up really quick, but what I know, there has been a debate about it, about affirmative action. So famous universities around the world now have quota. So the quota, for example, 30% is reserved for women, and maybe particularly TC, people of color, women, so non-white basically. So there has been a debate about this, because if we reserve a quota, that actually means it's an insult, because how do you know actually the women actually qualify? They don't need the quota to actually get in. But without the quota, that is also problematic, because there are so many barriers to go to the university for women. So yes, I assume there is the number is equal now. Again, my assumption, but yes, there is quota for women, particularly who are not white.
Interesting. Okay, just one more question? Yes, Gusti?
Okay, I have three questions. One is the history of women being oppressed in that book is only in Western history, or it covers all around the world? Because I hear in some civilizations, women take important position too. I cannot remember exactly which civilization it is. And then second, what
Indonesia?
yeah,
Yeah,
Ratu
no, we did
Sima,
have some
Ratu
queen,
Sima.
hundreds of
What made the world so mean to us? Like since when women are being oppressed, and what is the penyebab? What was the cause? The second question, and then the third is only random question about the painter admitted in Royal Academy have to paint naked male figure, and women cannot see naked male figure, but can the male painter at that time see naked female figure? Because we know that there were some naked paintings also, and yeah, so if it is it's so unfair. Yeah, so yeah, those are my questions. Thank you.
Okay, Pipit?
FYI, for those who didn't know, I actually taught Gusti debate in university. So that's how it is. That's what she came up with. I have 3 questions. Okay. So the first one, yes, the third one, unfair is the theme of this book, basically. Everything is unfair. Again, but in the end of the book, they said, although we know it is unfair, we shouldn't use this as an excuse. She's afraid that the side effect of writing this book is that, oh, of course women were treated that way, that's why if we don't make it, it's not our fault. So this is something she's afraid of. So yes, unfair, it is the story of women since the advance, I mean, since the beginning of time, maybe, yeah, since Adam and Eve, we don't know, but it shouldn't be an excuse for us. It should be an encouragement. Although we have more barriers, we should, you know, not use that as an excuse. That's the first one. Second, about male and female body. Actually, male were allowed to see naked female body that time. And a lot of women, actually, a lot of even the spouses of these painters became the model of the female naked body. So yes, it is unfair actually about who can see, who cannot see. And then the first one was the civilization. Yes, that is actually one of the weaknesses of this book. This book is too Eurocentric, very European. Although she talk about Hinduism, talk about Buddhism, talk about the Genghis Khan, the Mongolian as well, talk about Afghanistan. Yeah, this book also talk about some other areas outside Europe, but very minor in comparison to the examples she took from Europe. For example, the niece of Genghis Khan, Kubilai Khan or Genghis Khan itu ya. Actually, she was a tough soldier, for example. She said, if you want to marry me, you have to defeat me in a one-on-one combat. But if you lose, you have to give me 100 horses, basically. Now, we can imagine a lot of men wanted to be the family of Kubilai Khan because of how impressive he was, right? The family. And then she ended up with 10,000 horses and never got married. The niece. No one beat her in a one-on-one combat. So she got 10,000 horses and never got married. That's just one example from Mongolia, and we had also example from Afghanistan and some other area. But yes, very China as well. The inventor of paper was actually a woman in China. She also mentioned it, but in comparison is minor compared to the European. So that's how.
Well, the book highlights the Renaissance time, right? Which was way later than what mentioned in eastern part of the world. So I guess, you know, if the time permits, we can actually discuss about this a lot more, and perhaps one day we can have a session specifically for this. Yeah. But thank you, Pipit. Interesting. Yes. Yeah. Yes, please.
Yeah, about the Cambridge University only accepting women in 1945. I think there must be a deeper explanation because in the UK they already had powerful women figures. For example, Queen Victoria was very dominant for so many years. So it must not be only gender inequality, because the most powerful figure for so many years was the woman. Also in Spain, Queen Isabella. So I think it's not that easy. There must be a deeper explanation, not just gender.
Interesting. Oh, something behind all of this. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Donald, Pipit, Mita, and Gusti. Now, the next one, who is going to present? Is it going to be Lydia or Gusti?
May I?
Okay. Yes, Lydia. The book is Green Light by Matthew
By Matthew
McConaughey.
McConaughey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
This book talks about Matthew himself, where he grew up from Texas, living with two other brothers, eccentric mom and dad. Like any other biography that I've read, it's quite interesting, digging about someone that you only see from televisions, and then read about their childhood, about their experiences, spending time with families, brothers and sisters, and anything that shape their character and charisma nowadays. So I just finished part 3, Dirt Roads and Autobiography, and it feels like, yeah, like any other biography that that I finished. Why I choose this book? Because I love Matthew from movie that he played, a lot of character, and he had this charisma, and I finally found out why he got this charisma, this persona from televisions. And yeah, from review that I read from Goodreads, most of reviews told about keep questioning why people reading this book, why people buy this book, why this and that. But I have my personal perspective reading and choosing this book. So yeah, next question about interesting.
Key takeaway.
The takeaway, raising from there's nothing takeaway. I just feel interesting knowing how he raised from Texas family, because yeah, Texas family is quite unique, quite keras ya, dia keras gitu, mendidik anaknya itu dengan cara koboi begitu ya. So yeah, but it doesn't reflect from it doesn't reflect from the book. I couldn't find any reflections that he's just like his father with the eccentric style, or his mother with the higher enthusiastic mom, typical. I mean, like he raised by himself. Yeah, I mean, he combined his mother and father, his surroundings like that. So yeah, that's the impressions from the book Green Light.
All right. Thank you, Lydia. I guess if I read the book, it's because the charisma that he has, Matthew McConaughey. So anyway.
He's living in trailer, not in particular house, in normal house. He's living in trailer. And that's surprising me that he choose to live nomad. I mean,
yeah,
keep moving, doesn't want to stay in just one specific place.
Until now, Lydia?
Yeah.
a
Wow.
free-spirited person, yeah.
Doesn't he have kids? He has kids, right?
Yeah, I think he has. But from the story that I dig up a little bit from him, yeah, he is free spirit. That's why the reason why I choose this book, because I try to understand what makes him to choose to live like that way. Certain people living normal life, like working at 7 o'clock, come home at 5 or 6 o'clock, and then weekend play with kids. And meanwhile, this guy, this famous dude, he choose to live outside of the circle that yang kita tahu gitu. I try to understand what makes this guy particularly choose this lifestyle.
Interesting. All right. Any questions? Anyone?
I want to give comments to Lydia. Matthew McConaughey, the person I watch on movies, I think he's married and he has children, right? Is that true, Lydia?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's taken.
He's married and he has children.
Yeah, from the Google say, yeah, he has
Okay. And you said that he chooses to live in his trailer with his family. Is that correct?
not with his family.
Interesting. So they live separately. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think I don't know between them, between
Yeah.
him and his wife. I don't know, are they living separately? But he tend to live in his trailer.
Okay. Because what the last he's on YouTube. I mean, I saw him with his family. They were cooking together. They were eating together, and I don't think that they were in a trailer. I think it was a big house, a big kitchen. So, but I don't know. Maybe he has his own trailer for like me time or things like that. And of course, he can choose the way he lives. He's a millionaire. He's a movie star in Hollywood. He doesn't have to work from 7 to 7 every day. He could wake up when there is no movie project, he's free. But when there is a movie project, maybe he lives in the trailer in the movie set. That's what the actors do.
Yeah.
When they have a project, they live in the trailer in the movie set, and they start working when the project starts, the shooting starts, and they finishes when the shooting ends. So that's why he's in the trailer.
Matthew McConaughey raised from blue collar family.
Family.
His parents work for a company. His mother, beautician, sellers. I mean, like, what shaped him to be like today? What makes him? What makes him like this today? And yeah, from the story that I read from chapter 1 to until 3, yeah, it happens just like that, because he likes to read and write poems, and he likes to perform in front of other people, because he used to be he planned to be a lawyer, and then he switched his occupations to be a performer. And why he decide living that way, and that makes me interesting. I don't know why, but just
Family.
I just
Actually,
like it.
I
Yeah.
think that's true because I read the review about this book that even for writing this particular book, he left his family. So he went to the desert and stayed there for quite a long time to write this book. That means he does have the comfort of leaving the family behind to do something he thinks important for him. Maybe working, maybe writing a book, something like that. So,
All right. So not a kaleng start. Unlike the start that we have.
Yeah, some performer, Hollywood performer, takes time to marry with certain character. They take away themselves this to deserted island, reading the scenario, going deeper to the character, and then when they come back, they become different person. Poof. I mean, like, how come you can become different person in just short amount of time, like 1 week or 1 month? You become like,
because they are smart.
method actor.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Lydia. That was interesting. Okay, we have last book to be discussed here, Mantap Jiwa by Jerome Pauline Jabat. Will be presented by Gusti. Please, Gusti. And just to let everyone of you know, I may need to leave by 2:30, if that's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Go ahead,
so
Gusti.
okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So this book is a light reading, yeah. For light reading is a biography of Jerome Pauline, a famous YouTuber before he becoming a YouTuber and after he becoming a YouTuber. And I read this book because lately he is roasted by netizens in Indonesia due to certain TikTok videos, and some people laugh at him and then saying like, this is Indonesian Ministry of Education with condescending tone, and then that makes me curious, like what kind of person he is, because I hardly watch his content, so I read this book. So he born in 1998 at the era of Child's condition, chaotic, May 1998, when
Nineteen
people,
ninety-eight, yeah.
when people attack China's ethnics. So he was born in a hard time, and when he was in elementary school, he was almost rejected. What is it? It's hard for him and his parent to find a right school for him. So finally, he could get like scholarship in IPH school in Surabaya, and that there are many rich kids in that school, right? And in every long vacation, the friends of Jerome always said like, I've been in foreign country, and Jerome can only become a listener because he never he didn't have any money to go abroad. He just went around the town. But the thing that is like stick in his mind is the story of his friends having fun in Tokyo, in Disneyland. So he has this dream. In the future I want to be able to go to Disneyland with my family, and because of that, I think that is like a childish dream. He could improve himself because he didn't think he didn't thought, if I want to go to Disneyland, I have to go to college in foreign country. That is the way he chose for him to make his dream come true. And then what amazed me is he prepared himself. He looking for information about scholarship and universities in foreign countries since he was still in junior high school, which is, for me, it's like, wow, it's so amazing, because when I was still in junior high school, I spend most of my time playing PlayStation, something like that. And but he like, since he was a little, he's like has a focus mind to reach his dream step by step. And then in senior high school, he wanted to go to Singapore University, National University of Singapore, and Nanyang, which at that time is the second and the first best university in Asia. But at that time, because he is a rank student, when he take the test for granted, but when he tried to search the example of the, what is it, of the soal, the questions of the test, he was super surprised because the test was so hard. The mathematics test, the physics test, and the English test is so hard, he couldn't do them at all. And at that time, he feels like his arrogance was crushed severely. But then after that, he think like, there is no impossible for God. Nothing is impossible for God. So I will try to do this. So, and then in senior high school, he tried to join many mathematics Olympiad, but he couldn't win none of them until he in 11th grade. That was when he got his first winning. But what I find is amazing for him that losing is really is hard, right? Losing is really hurtful. But even though he was fall down and then even feeling desperate, he could find his spirit again and then go back to the step. He kept following another competition, losing and then joining again, losing and joining again after he can finally win. And then at that time, he failed to get admitted to National University of Singapore, but he got admitted in Nanyang, Singapore, but he couldn't get any scholarship. And that time he felt like my dream, my childhood dream is crushed. But then after that, his brother told him about the scholarship of Mitsui Busan in in Japan, and then he decided to join the scholarship, although at that time he felt doubtful for himself. And then he said like, if I couldn't get the scholarship, then the money I used to go to Jakarta to join the test will be go astray. But his family support him and then just try it. And at that time, after the test, when he joining the test, I feel like finally he could feel that his relentless practice of doing mathematic questions are paid when he joined the mathematic test of Mitsui Busan, because he felt like those questions are very easy for him, because he had practice all the time. And then when he was interviewed by the committee, he found that he got 99% right of his mathematics test. So he got the highest score in mathematics. But not all of his trial is smooth. Sometimes he found like he already learned material A, but then the one that comes out in the test is material B, that is far from what he have already learned. So sometimes he felt like, maybe I don't get it, maybe I didn't get it. But then back again, he what is it? He back to God. So he said like, nothing is impossible for God. I have already tried my best. And then finally, from the thousands applicants, he was one of the two applicants that can get scholarship in Mitsui Busan. Yeah, sorry, Mbak Bibit. Yeah. So what I think is the most interesting from this book is his relentless effort, and then the conclusion is, yeah, like, what is it? Even though failure is scary, but if we try, we will finally get what we want if God allows. Thank you.
All right. It's a story
Sorry
about
guys, I'm
persistency.
interrupting. I have to move to device soon. Can we take photo first?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, sure. That's okay. Yeah. Okay, let's take picture.
Sorry ya Put.
Siapa yang take picture?
Me. I can take photo.
Oh, okay.
Show your book, guys. So the closest book, even dictionary like Fajar usually even buku matematika,
My
buku
book
pas
is
UMPTN,
digital book.
digital book. Okay,
Okay.
one. Kak Bita, you ready? Pecah-pecah. 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Before we finish, any questions or comments about the book? Well, I don't know about this guy. Now I know. from Gusti. But I guess he's famous.
Lately, he tried to,
yeah.
a lot of people tried to cancel him because
Yeah.
he make fun of the word, kami sudah berusaha apa? Gus? Apa Put?
Semaksimal mungkin. Kami sudah berusaha semaksimal
Kami
mungkin.
sudah berusaha semaksimal mungkin. You know the line that doctor said to a family when their relative passed away? Kami sudah berusaha semaksimal mungkin. And then he danced to it.
Oh,
You
I
know,
see.
so it's very insensitive. Then people try to drag him and
Yeah.
cancel him.
Okay, then what I could take away from that, like from this story and from I'm not sure about the book, but I think emotional intelligence is very important. Okay, ada komentar lain? Any
My
other comment?
takeaway is, you see how the struggle he had to go through for all of this achievement, and he's very smart. Yeah, we know this. He got a lot of scholarships right now, and I think he's a doctor too, right? But yeah,
S2,
he's a
S2.
doctor. Not sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
However, all of this effort can just be gone if we make a terrible mistake and probably even unintended. So maybe just be careful to all of us and try to think again.
Yeah.
Whatever you put out there in the internet.
Also, netizen is jam, yeah. Yes,
Okay.
Fajar.
I think my takeaway is that I mean his major he got scholarship in mathematics, applied mathematics in Japan, and I think that some people think that it is maybe because he is naturally gifted in mathematics. Maybe it's so people will be thinking, he's just gifted, or he's just lucky, or he got the right DNA. But from my experience, when it comes to learning mathematics, especially on the higher level, what really matters the most is our dedications and our willingness to practice and keep doing again and again. I mean, being smart can help, but it can only help. Not so much. Yeah. Dedication is much more important, and doing the practice, doing the hard work. Okay.
All right. Anyone else?
This is interesting, but I'm Wikipediaing Jerome Pauline, and it's amazing that he's young and he's in Forbes and Fortune. You know, he's rich, yeah. But I think I don't know. Is it nowadays? Is my question for everyone? It's easier for the youngsters to become famous and rich when you're young nowadays, but emotionally not ready for this kind of fame and wealth. So, and people do make mistakes when they're young. So it's okay for him to make mistakes. But I'm just asking the same question again. Is it easy now for the young to be famous and fame and wealthy at the same time? When you're 24, you're already in Fortune 500, you're already in like Forbes 30 under 30, so Fortune 40 under 40. This is like, even Ikapi also says that Mantap Pujiwa is Rookie of the Years. I mean, the best book. Is it common nowadays for the youngsters to be like him?
Yeah, in a way. I think the technology make it more possible now than before.
But not all people can use the facility to be like him.
There's
Good.
always temptation for everyone when they on the peak of successful. There's temptation to do whatever they want, and that's the challenging part, I think. Like udah terkenal nih, mau ngapain lagi gitu di titik itu kan, apalagi yang mau dibikin, apalagi yang mau dibuat, itu tantangannya. Beda dengan yang orang kita dulu, orang tua mau sukses tuh dari anak tangga 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gitu kan, les dulu kursus ini sana gitu kan. But nowadays youngsters just click over website, apply something, posting, flexing, and so many parts that easily for them to get attention, to withdraw attentions from many eyes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite challenging now. I mean, like me, I have to take so many courses when I was young. My family likes to, take this course, takes bahasa Inggris, takes mathematics, physics, biology, takes swimming course, just to make me to be prepared for the next life stage. But now youngsters don't do like that part, just sitting in front of your device connected to network. You can make money from that. But at the peak of successful, pada titik sangat sukses, mau ngapain lagi ya? Apa yang belum dibuat?
You
Karena
cannot
saking
really
mudahnya kan,
compare,
saking
right?
mudahnya, saking
Yeah.
mudahnya kan.
It's
So
two
it
different
seems like-
different era. It's not comparison. I mean, durian in apple, you cannot compare it, right? Also, a lot
But
of
he has parents, right? He has parents. He has father and mother who, keep reminding him, you came from this part and now you are jumping higher. What we should avoid as a famous person, a famous personality. Because my kids also watching his YouTube channel. I feel like, okay, this guy is nice. He studies abroad. He can speak two language, bahasa in Japan. He likes mathematics. I cannot do mathematics well. It's like, and then something happened, like, human.
life. It's
But
a strange thing.
But I think netizen like
Okay.
to membesar-besarkan masalah, I think. Like dia hanya melakukan like he only did one mistake and then like people want to crush him and then laugh over his dream, even though maybe their achievement is not as good as him. So like crab mentality in Indonesian netizen, that's something that I want to point out.
Netizen, maha benar.
Yeah, I think I agree with both Lydia and Gusti that the process to be famous and wealth is instant now, rather than what we had to do when I was younger. Yeah, to compete with the others and to be who I really am, it was harder. I think with Mbak Imong also, she can relate. But I did my mistakes when I was at his age. So I think Gusti is also right that it's too sad that the netizen just roast him, because for me, I was lucky when I made my mistakes at the same age, even younger. Nobody tried to blame me, but him, I think it's so sad because just one mistake and all his accomplishments in life they're just gone. Nobody pay attention anymore. It's like nila setitik rusak susu sebelanga. Yeah, it's the proverb. I think we should educate the youngsters not to judge a person or to blame just by one mistake, because his accomplishments are. We should focus on his accomplishments. Maybe there is a jealousy as well, Gusti.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
Right.
There are many people like say that he is too happy, he is too spiritful. I don't like him just because they cannot be as cheerful as he is.
Don't listen to netizen. Should not use them as your reference. I guess that's the lesson for me. Donald, Fajar, anything before we close this? Or if you still want to continue, I need to excuse myself in 4
No, I
minutes.
think before we close, because we will close at 2:30, just my short comment. In general, I think these days what is important is called AQ, adversity quotient. So we face any challenge, any situation, and we do not base our self-worth on what other people say, that we keep moving forward. So I think it is very important, AQ, more than IQ and any other things. That's it. Thank you.
All right, Fajar.
Yeah. What Jeremy?
Oh, anything to close this?
Hopefully, we will have more people.
Okay,
Hopefully next time.
yeah.
Please remind me to invite my friend from another
Mhm.
English club, so maybe they will be interested. I
Our
just
Okay.
meeting will be on April 15th. And so
April
April
15th.
15th.
Okay.
okay.
Pak Pak Irlando, Eddie Matlan, anything? This is your first one here? Guess not. Okay then. Thank you so much, everyone. I think 1.5 hours of our time somehow is worth it. Yeah, what we invested. We make our brain cells happy. And just be thankful for that to every one of you. That's what I'm doing right now. I thank all of you for a good time. Our brain get together, and we'll see you next month. Yeah, stay healthy, stay happy, stay
Thank
smart.
you,
Thank
Mbak
you.
Imo. Thank you, everyone.
Okay,
Thank you, Pipit. Yeah,
Bye.
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 Gusti. Bye, Fajar.
Kalau klub yang Bookaholics itu kapan sih meetingnya? Kalau yang Bookaholics tahu nggak kapan meetingnya?
It's Tuesday night, Selasa malam, jam 8.
What date?
It's March 14th.
March 14 ya.
Ya,
So,
tanggal 14 Maret. Ya,
ya. So, Selasa depan ya.
Selasa besok. I will forward the invitation, the e-flyer to Pipit, and maybe Pipit could help me forward it to the book Brewers, please.
Okay,
So everybody can see the e-flyer. And please come because for those of you probably who haven't been to the Bookaholics, we conduct it differently. It's only one book at a time. However, we ask the audience to read the book prior to the discussion, so everyone shares their thoughts and feelings regarding the book during the discussion.
All right.
Okay.
Mm.
Thank
Alright,
you. Bye, everyone. Have a nice weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.